Usually, when the weather's on, most of us will tune in just to check if we need an umbrella, but would you believe there are actually thousands that might be watching with their glow sticks out? Oh, and they probably don't care about the weather. What on earth am I talking about? Well, stick around to find out. But brace yourselves, we're going pretty niche with this one. In this episode of Otaku Files, we're talking about the ultimate idols, the weather reporters of Weather News Live. Most of us outside of Japan may not be aware of some of the more interesting personalities within the Japanese otaku landscape, so I thought I'd do a little video series and try to shed some light on these individuals. This is Otaku Files. Checking the weather can be rather important, especially in a natural disaster-prone country like Japan, where it could even be a matter of life or death. Luckily for me, here in Japan, we have Weather News Live, a 24-hour live weather channel operated by Weather News Inc. But checking out their YouTube channel ended up doing something a bit weird to my recommendations. I started getting recommended clips of their female weather reporters, of them making mistakes, speaking about Pokemon, and just being, well, cute. Oh, and some of these videos were getting millions of views. What I also noticed is how popular these weathercasters seem to be outside of Japan too. So I decided to start looking into this to understand what exactly this was all about. First off, Weather News Live has been around since 2018, but was apparently a rebranding of Soralive 24 or Solive 24, which first launched in 2009. Weather News Live supposedly being a bit more serious. But both in the Soralive 24 era and Weather News Live era, the weathercasters were talking about things besides the weather. I think this idea of adding variety elements to a program like the weather or the news is fairly common in Japan, and even in other countries, but they definitely seem to make sure to use young female casters. But before we talk about their more internationally well-known weathercasters like Hiyama Saya, we need to talk about Yamagishi Airi. Airi was there from the beginning, when the 24-hour live streaming format officially launched. She was actually a bit of an otaku, liking anime and manga. She was also into drawing, and had experience as a seiyu. Combining her talents, for her audition, she did a kamishibai, or a picture story show. However, when she first joined Weather News, Solive 24 didn't exist yet. She was apparently assigned as one of the weathercasters for Weather News' mobile phone video streaming service called Oha10. In any case, it seems pretty clear even from this time, management knew they wanted weathercasters that would be a quote-unquote fit for the streaming format, aka those that can bridge the gap between traditional journalism and otaku/streaming culture, helping them be relatable to Nico Nico Doga and YouTube audiences. And Airi was apparently quite good at accomplishing that, actively engaging with the chat. But during my research, I found out something quite shocking about her. It seems her seiyu skills came in handy for something else. In 2011, during Weather News' annual event Soratomo Party, they announced a new project, Project Weatheroid. This Weatheroid would be a fictional character that would tell you the weather using voice synthesizing software, and through Nico Nico Sega would hold a contest for its design based upon Airi. The Weatheroid's voice actress would also be Airi.
はじめまして、ウェザーロイドタイプ A アイリです。皆さんにお会いできて嬉しいです。
Weatheroid Type A Airi would first be shown on Solive 24 on April 13th, 2012. The winner of the design contest was actually illustrator Taue Shunsuke, whose work also includes the famous ARPG gaming series Iisu. For her reveal, they used an automated voice with what looks like some variants of her illustration. But the real surprise would happen around a year later on February 4th, 2013, where we would see Weatheroid Type A Airi appear in 3D using motion capture for her movements. Yes, way before the word even existed, Weatheroid Type A Airi appeared as a VTuber. Of course, most would accredit Ami Yamato as perhaps being the first VTuber, but with her anime-like looks and being in that live streaming environment, Weatheroid Type A Airi was arguably the first type of VTuber that is most commonly associated with VTubers nowadays. This was honestly not something I was expecting to find out while researching this subject, and came as a pretty nice surprise. FYI, Weatheroid Type A Airi, affectionately known among her fans as Ponko or Ponko-chan, is still active. I'll put a link in the description box below. In any case, this shows that Weather News actively made moves that would help them engage with online audiences that were most likely to be, yep, otaku. And probably related to that, the weatheroid idea apparently first came about because during that time there was a Vocaloid boom happening within the Nico Nico Doga community. This would certainly explain the use of voice synthesizing software, and then obviously had no problem going down this 3D model route. Pretty adventurous to say the least. Of course, what they also weren't resistant to was their weathercasters being viewed in an idol-like way. This was most likely because of how popular AKB48 were among that community in the early 2010s. Simply put, Weather News honed in on their online target audience and made sure to market their casters in line with the latest trends. Unfortunately though, as one could guess, there have been some negative side effects as a result of these marketing practices, most notably with former Weather Newscaster Hiyama Saya.
ねえ、これどうしてくれるんですか？今すごく恥ずかしいんですけれども、ハマっちゃいました。
Active from 2018 to 2024, Saya is arguably the most popular and famous weathercaster in weather news history. She was attractive, played video games, loved anime, and loved to cosplay. Not only that, she was awkward and would often make weird comments that would end up getting clipped, those clips gaining tons of views, helping to further increase her fanbase. A famous example is when she looked at a picture of an okonomiyaki and called it a flat takoyaki. This video has nearly 3 million views, by the way. Considering all this, it's not exactly difficult to understand why Saya became popular. She was the perfect match for Weather News' viewers, and I'm sure management knew that too, with the Saya merch they put out and even managing to pull off a collab with Sharp, bringing out air purifiers installed with Saya's voice. She essentially became, yep, an idol. On the Japanese interwebs though, she was called something a little less flattering, Jakusha Dansei no Hime, which we can translate as the princess of marginalized men. Pretty self-explanatory. Jakusha Dansei is actually internet slang. It's a relatively broad term for men who quote-unquote aren't very fortunate in life, like being poor, single, are disabled, aren't attractive, etc. Now that aside, something which probably aided Saya's popularity were certain comments she made while on the subject of love, saying something on the lines of giving up easily because she thinks they, as in the person she's interested in, wouldn't be interested in her. Apparently she's made other similar remarks which all in all made some assume that she's never been in a relationship before and that she wasn't interested in men. Well, turns out they were wrong. At a time when Saya was absent from Weather News Live, she was caught attending a tennis match, one between Yoshihito Nishioka and Daniel Galen, and she was apparently sitting in some special seats on Yoshihito Nishioka's side. Long story short, Saya would confirm that she was indeed in a relationship with him. Yoshihito Nishioka, as you could imagine, there were some in Saya's fanbase who didn't take the news very well, saying they felt betrayed and that Saya had just taken advantage of them. However, Saya did apparently put out a message regarding the rumors about her love life that I mentioned earlier, saying that they weren't true. Probably just added more gasoline to the fire, to be honest. Now, I did find it kind of weird that she was sitting in on a tennis game at Wimbledon, which would no doubt be broadcasted all around the world. And with Yoshihito Nishioka being a Japanese tennis player, obviously there would be many from Japan watching too, which kind of made me wonder about how aware Saya was of her quote-unquote idol status. In any case, it would later come out that the two got to know each other because they both liked Pokemon. Well, there you go. Also, they announced their marriage in December 2024. Regardless, Weather News Live doesn't seem to have changed their strategy too much, but I'm going to guess they have a lot more cautious viewers. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I was genuinely surprised to find out how connected Weather News was to the otaku world. I do love VTubers especially, so it was just great finding that out. But let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Also feel free to give me any suggestions for future videos. More videos coming your way, so stay tuned. Thank you again, guys. Stay safe, take care. Peace.